Hey everyone, it's Shawn McBride. Welcome to the McBride for Business YouTube channel. We are starting a new series here about writing business books for profit. What's going on behind the scenes is I am writing a book about business books and how to use a book to expand your business. And so I'm bringing on authors. A lot of them will be friends of mine, friends of friends, and we're going to be talking through lessons. And so we're going to be jumping into it here. This is going to be a series. Clint Fuqua, who's coming up shortly, has agreed to help us with being our initial author that we interview, be our guinea pig. He's going to bring you a lot of great lessons about what he's done in the book world, how it's played into his business. So hopefully some stuff you take away. And this is going to be a series. So if you're getting this later, look for the YouTube playlist and check out everybody. But yeah, we're going to feature people. We're going to talk about their books. We're going to bring lessons to you, most importantly, and tell you what you can do to really make a book part of your bigger business. And these lessons will come to you. You get to watch all the live videos, all the raw feed, and then I'll be taking those lessons along with my lessons and lessons from other authors, combining it all together, making it into a book. And some of these lessons you'll see summaries of or expanded versions of in the book. So with that, let's jump Clint up on the screen with us. Hey, Clint, how are you?
Good. How are you doing, Sean?
Good, good. Give people a little background. I mean, let's just paint the picture. You've written several books, I know. How does it kind of fit together in your overall business plan?
Uh, so the initial book, which I'll show you the book right quick.
Yep.
There we
Yep,
go.
we see it there. Yep, I can see it good.
Third form. There you go. Let's glare. How about we do this?
There you go. Even easier to read. Yes.
There we go. So that was the initial book. Published that 6 years ago. Actually, I went through my website, so I'm going to tell everybody a lot of stuff not to do.
Okay.
For publishing a book for profit, because I'll tell you, I've made zero profit on the book. However, I've helped a lot of people improve their lives, which is the main goal with the book. More so than making a profit off of it. I've given away I don't know how many copies of that thing. So and usually it's for clients, or if I any program that I do, 6-week, 12-week program, it's included in the program.
Yeah.
So essentially, I've turned it into a giveaway, give back. I wrote it as a way for people to improve their health. So anybody that can't work with me personally, you get the book, you're working with me.
Got
it's
it.
the process. So that's kind of where the book started. I went through a little time period. If you have anybody out there, if you've lost everything before, I've been there twice, 3 times actually. So I had a little rebirth 10 years ago, not really getting back into the fitness industry, but getting back into training. And I want to just be a trainer. There's a lot of trainers out there, so I want to do more than that after coming off of running a company. So, the goal was, essentially getting me started, and the book was part of that. The book wasn't even really a plan until I met a few people, and it popped up one night. In my head, bam, it was on my birthday. The process for this whole thing, including the logo, it was just there, right?
Just there. Yep.
So, watch out for those epiphanies in the middle of the night. When you're laying on the ground without a bed or anything else, going, what am I gonna do? Here's what you do.
Here's a manuscript for you. Here's an outline.
Hang, get out and do it. And that book is actually turned into a radio show for me. So I was a part of a radio show for a year and a half. Ended up with my own radio show for 3 years, and now my TV show is up and going and live. So usually people have their show and then they write a book. I went the opposite route. I wrote the book, and now I've got the radio show, the TV show. I'm about to redo the book. I'm going to do a version 2.0. It's actually it's going to be a 6-book series. So I'm going to take each chapter, and each chapter is going to turn into its own book, something to that degree. For expansion, for sale, for future programs with the TV show. So it's a long way around.
And so what you're talking about, though, is, and I mean, I guess this goes different ways for different people, is And I think an important point is you've connected this in ways to your existing business. You may not have had as much of the plan in the beginning, but after the book came out, you find ways to interconnect, right? You put it into the workshops and lessons you're doing now. You use it as part of your radio show. So in a way, it becomes part of integral to your brand.
Yeah, it's actually the central piece of the brand, or a part of the brand anyway, the personal healthcare reform aspect of it, because 10 years ago what was going on, we had all the healthcare reform going on, right? Which I was highly and still am highly opposed to, that entire thing, the bill, how it works, everything else, and all that. Because health is a personal thing. Your health is your health. My health is my health. We're supposed to take care of that. We're not supposed to shove that off on somebody else to do. So this was a taking your control back, taking your power back, taking your life back, essentially, and controlling your health. This way, nobody else can control your world and your life. Because once somebody starts controlling your health, well, they own you at that point. You and your entire future.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I think that's a big piece of it, right? Is health's integral to who you are, right? So, I mean, I think philosophically, you're talking about getting your underlying philosophies and thoughts. It goes into your book, and then it goes into how you structure the business around the book.
Yeah. So the initial goal was you write the book, you go out, you speak. Because of course I got into a speaker group, and so I'd done corporate wellness before. I'd been on stages doing speaking, so I'm like, oh, well, I can do this. I've been up on stage with people just hating me because I'm up on stage. Oh, great, the health guy's here. He's going to tell us not to eat donuts now. Yep. Essentially what corporate wellness was. You go up there on stage, you've got your little canned presentation, you flip through the screens and all that stuff, and everybody goes, yay, as we're chowing down on donuts, looking at you with hate-filled eyes. So, and I made that joke in there. I made it a point to point that out. And I have an off-script at the time, which is why the company that hired me to do it, well, stopped hiring me to do it. Because they're like, stay on script, man, stay on. I want to give them something good, right? So, part of this was to write the book, get up on stage, put some tremendous value out there for people, and help them, take control. So ended up on video and instead of like on the speaking stages, but that'll happen now as a add-on to the show as things move forward.
Yeah, we'll talk about that piece, and it was part of my experience that I was probably most surprised about with the book. Is after I wrote the book, people suddenly give you kind of a different. They treat you differently. Maybe you want to talk a little bit. I mean, did you have that experience that people act any differently about having you come in as a speaker or a guest? I mean, did things change in any way once you wrote your book?
Well, it's an elevation thing. Whenever you're just a trainer, you're a trainer. Hey, we got a trainer coming to speak to us. Versus we've got an author. And I've written a lot of articles too. I've written hundreds of articles. I've been in men's fitness twice. So you start throwing those things out, and then the level of kind of the level of respect and everything else starts going up. It's like, oh, yeah, and this in the articles, wow, that was you. Yeah, that was me. So it really elevates you. And so from a speaking standpoint, when they bring you up on stage, they really have a reason to have you up on stage other than, well, yeah, this is a trainer. Well, no, this is now an expert in the field that has put time in. They've got, they've written a lot. The articles, award-winning articles. And then you add on, well, they've also got a radio show. Well, they do this. And so now you're not just, a trainer, you're now an authority in the area, which sometimes you'll see, you and I both see this on social media, online. You've got people that will start things that the influencers out there that really should have zero authority to do anything because they've got no skin in the game. They've never done it. They look good or they sound good or whatever. They're marketable and they get thrown out there, but they've got nothing behind them. They got no years of experience. And so you get these influencers that are put on this pedestal that really, you've heard, I'm sure you've heard the term post turtle, because this is hilarious. I love this little meme.
Yes.
Turtle is up on a post.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't know up there. It has no reason to be up there. It can't get down from there. It's just stuck there, right?
Right.
And there's some really pretty post turtles out there that are putting out horrendous content. When you've got people down here that are rummaging around, scrounging, have been doing this thing, that are industry experts that should be up here and elevated, and they just haven't done it, whether it's a fear of success or they just hate being around people or they don't want to go out and speak, whatever it is, those people should be up here because they've got the intellect, they've got the expertise to do it. A lot of times they're so busy with what they're doing, and busy, not productive, they're busy. They've got tons of clients, they're worn out, they're beat up.
Yeah.
You know, like, would you write a book? I can't write a book. Well, there's ghostwriters. I know some. Here, I'll put you in front of one. Get that out there. Get yourself out there, and quit beating yourself up all day. But this, although there are people that just they want to get in, they want to grind, they want to train. That's all they want to do, or they want to be in their industry. And one, they're afraid of talking. They're afraid of being out in public, and so that crushes all that. Versus a lot of the influencers that just they've never seen a camera they didn't love.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, sure, give me a script, I'll throw it out there.
There's a mental hurdle in writing the book, and I mean, I think there's two things I was thinking of as you were talking. The first one is just getting over the mental hurdle. There's a lot of people I've met over the years that have a book in them, right? They got the information, they got the experience, they've lived something. Either they've had a major life experience, I've had those types of people, or they've built the expertise over the years, right? They've been the go-to accountant or fitness trainer, or the go-to, a landscaper, or they built a multi-employee business, right? They did something that other people could use the story of, but they can't think of themselves in terms of being an author. They can't get over that hurdle of just putting it down on paper.
Yeah, a lot of them are afraid of, I just don't know how to write. Well, most writers don't know how to write, okay, unless you're Stephen King, and you've gone to school and you've got through the writing process and all that stuff, and it's a grinding process. You've got to set your time, your hours to sit down and write, and it doesn't matter if it's good or not. Your syntax, all that stuff. That's why you have editors. So forget about the shiny happy piece of it. You just need to get in and make some sausage, okay? Get your hands in it, get dirty, get messy, okay? And then after you got everything put together and you got your word salad on a page, on the blank page, well, the editors come in and turn into that nice, lovely, awesome sausage that we all love to eat.
Yes. Well, yeah, and then talk about that too. I mean, I think one thing I had an experience while I was writing my book, and just that taking all this years of knowledge, data, information around the subject, and you start putting it in paper, and just that process. Really, it's almost like an internal examination or a learning process. It does elevate you in a way, just because you have to go through your own information and make it digestible, and it makes you a better teacher and a better informer.
Oh yeah, well, you really have to break it down and be focused on what you want to tell people. So whenever we start in the book writing process, it's like, okay, what's the expectation with this book? What's my goal with this book? What should people be getting from this thing? And that helps you drill down. It's like, well, I got all this information. Well, great. Now you got 3 or 4 more other books.
Right.
Let's get ready for more writing. Okay, get ready for some late nights and some coffee and some good music and everything else, and just get ready for the creative process. And go with it. But it comes down to the blank sheet of paper, and you're staring at this blank sheet of paper or the computer, and you're just staring at it.
Yeah.
And thinking, oh my God, what do I do? What do I write? What do I type? And it's like, just throw it out there. Or if you need to, if you are a hyper organized person, control freak, sit down, write out your chapter list. Start doing that.
That's how I like to write. I like to have a general outline of where I'm headed, what's going in where, and then I fill in the details.
Yeah, and then you got your editor and everybody else. everybody else will be like, okay, so what type of book is this? How many pages do we want this thing to be? How do we put it out? And all that stuff. So they take and homogenize, the raw that you're putting out there. And if there's more out there on the cutting room floor, well, you do a second edition, an expanded edition.
Yeah.
You can take one book and turn it into 3 books, which was actually one of my ideas for this thing is do like a pocket version that's just quick and snappy. You got the regular book and you got the extended version, which is technically the book and the workbook put together. So it's the director's cut, the full Zack Snyder cut experience of, instead of the 3-hour movie. Well, now you get a whole 6-hour epic.
Yes. And so, what were your lessons? So you write a book. You said you were just inspired. You pushed through it. You sent it out there. Looking back, I mean, what did you learn from connecting the book to your business, and maybe what did you wish you would know?
Let's see. How to properly do a book launch would be the best. And so the company that was running my website, they did the publishing for me. They were going to do the whole setup and the push and the advertising, everything else around the book. And we'll just say it was lackluster. So they put stuff out there, and it just, nobody showed up, right? And there were a lot of virtual events. We were going to set up some live events, but my book is online. So it's like, well, how do you sell an online book in a live event? They download it. But people like having the paper thing in their hand, right? Or the book. So I wasn't in a position to print books, because normally if you print books, you're printing out at least 3,000 to 5,000 the first run. It costs a little bit of money. So it was that part of it. So whenever you go in, make sure you've got a budgeting plan of what you want to do, where you want to put that book, how you want to market it. So my book's available on Amazon. Both of them are. I did a side project book. I was vitamin K. A guy contacted me. He's like, I want to do an entire book series over all the vitamins and minerals. I'm just going to assign you one. I'm like, okay, cool. Maybe we'll get something awesome. I get vitamin K? I get here. K? What am I supposed to do with this? So I ended up writing about Popeye, vampires, and bloody chickens to make it interesting. So, but there's that. Don't get too attached to it. That first book is your first baby, and you're going to want to protect it. And it's got to be my way or the highway. Because so how about we rearrange these sentences? No. It's in my voice. So don't get overly attached to the first one, or at least put the first one out there. People are going to tell you your baby's ugly. Okay.
Yep.
Don't hate them for it, because it's not their baby, it's your baby. And then the second one, you'll get less attached, and you're like, okay, now I've got something I want to put out. And that's what the second edition will be of that first book. Because that first one it's a birthing process. I mean, literally, it took almost 9 months to get that book out of me.
Right. Oh, it can be hard. So there's that kind of intimidation factor. But I think you make a good point, which is just get it out there. So many people get caught up. I think they get caught up on their brand. They get caught up on, I can't have a book out there that's not 100% perfect. But what do people say to you after you wrote the book? I mean, I had a lot of people come up to me and they were like, man, you wrote a book. I don't think I could ever write a book. Oh my God, you wrote a book. I mean, just like, there is the perspective of you gain a lot of cred points just from getting it done.
Yeah, well, there's that. Of course, there's also the whole, you wrote a book.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, like 6 years ago. Where have you been? I got a radio show too and a TV show. So you do get that. There is, often the whole, wow, how did you do that? Well, you sit down, you do a lot of this.
Yeah, you build a schedule, but I tell you, a lot of people they respect you. It depends on who you're dealing with, right? It's human nature. But a lot of people, they're either jealous, or some people do genuinely respect the fact that you put in the time, you wrote the outline, you got in front of the keyboard, and you did the things to take it from finish to publish, from start to publish.
Other authors really respect you no matter what they've written. anybody that's never written a book, some are like, was it a bestseller? Not yet. Well, maybe I'll read it when it becomes one. Gee, thanks. You won't be
Yeah.
getting an autograph either.
Well, it's almost like social media, right? It becomes you know, everybody crowds into a handful of people. But most of us have niches that need service, right? There's not a book on every topic. As many books as there's out there, I mean, we can tell folks there's not a book on every topic. There's stuff that people need, particularly if you have a niche, right? People are not getting the information they need. I mean, what I did was I watched clients come in my door, right? Clients are coming in my door.
Mm-hmm.
They got problems. They are not finding the answers. So I knew they needed a book because clients kept asking me the same questions over and over and over again.
Yeah. Like when you start answering questions, you've got a book.
Yeah.
That's
And particularly if you're a business owner, I mean, there's your first, that can be the base of your book, right? Is just start taking a catalog when your clients come in the door, your customers come in the door, and they keep asking the same questions over and over again, and you keep having to address something. You just read a chapter of your book.
oh yeah, and it's everybody has questions, and most people aren't really looking for answers when they ask questions. Um, they're not looking until they actually go out and start doing something like buying a book and reading it. Why? Because you're there to find some sort of answer, and it always sounds better in your voice coming back into your ears, um, as opposed to somebody else's. Unless you listen to Micro, yeah,
Yeah.
it's always going to sound better. But it's um, there's that piece too. Um, Somebody coming to you asking you a question, you just give them some information. It'll be in one ear, out the other, or they're going to question it, or they're just doing it to
Right.
amuse themselves or whatever. If somebody goes out and they buy a book, they're actually investing some of their own money, some of their own capital into this thing.
Hmm.
They are now looking and searching for answers. And,
Yes.
hopefully your book is the one that's going to answer those, give them the answers, and potentially the reason to move forward on doing something, as opposed to, well, I read the book, I know this information now. Well, great. Are you going to do anything with it?
Yeah. Well, a lot depends on your reader, and I mean, let's take that head on, right? I mean, some percentage of your readers are going to be the do-it-yourselfers, and they're going to read your book and they're going to say, "Great, I can go do this now. I'm good," and you've helped them, and that's nice. But then some percentage are going to say, "Okay, that person knows what they're talking about. They're the expert. I'm going to call them up and do more with them," right? So you've got to understand that the market's segmented, and different readers are going to do different things with your book, but it's the collection of experiences that really makes or breaks the book market.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's, if pretty much, I will say pretty much anybody can write a book now and get one out there because of self-publishing and all the new self-publishing tools, stuff like that. So,
Yeah,
uh, depending on what your goal is, if you just want to write a book and get it out there, just to say you have one, then you can go pretty much any way to do that. If you're trying to get out there and literally brand it, market it, sell it, make money on it, there's an entire machine behind that, a system, which I saw
yeah,
it in your system video earlier. People go back and watch the system video. I'm gonna watch it later today. Um, but yeah, systems
right.
sell. So, because when you're sitting there on Facebook and you're doing this and Instagram and any other social media, what do you have? You got ads popping up.
Yeah.
These are all the sales systems, because I've got a lot of book sales systems popping up in my feed right now because I
Mhm.
clicked one of them and now
Yeah,
they're all there. Um, but yeah, you've got to have a system built around that. And once again, you've got to have a budget. Uh,
sure.
Write a book and do it for profit and for business, and your business is going to be built by this book. You really need to sit down and figure out your budget around that thing and how much money you're going to invest in the marketing of this book to get it out there and get it sold, and what's your break even on that. How many books
Yeah,
do you have to sell before you actually make a dime back? And usually it's in the tens of thousands.
yeah. And the other thing too, I think, is make sure you understand the team you're arranging before you get into it. Right? There's a number of pieces that go into doing a book. You mentioned some of them, right? I mean, it's the editors, then you've got copyright people, you got layout people, you've got all kinds of different people that are going to touch your baby. So, what you don't want to do, and I know I'm guilty of this on my first book, is, you get a lot of cooks in the kitchen, and every time you bring it in, they're like, "Oh, we need this other cook over here too, and we need the other guy," and so and the other girl. And next thing you've got 10 people on your payroll, and that's fine if you have that at your initial plan. But if you thought you needed 5 people on your team, you end up with 10. That can be a surprise.
Yeah, the best thing to do is to find somebody that does books in your industry. That's what they do. They know your market niche.
Yeah.
They know they know what needs to go in your book. They know how it needs to go out, how it needs to be marketed, how it needs to be formatted, all that stuff. They've already got their team there. They're not bringing anybody else in. You come in, you sit down, you have your meetings, you do your writing, you submit it to them. They pour through it and say, "That's cool. How about we do this and this and this?" And they do a timeline for you too. From
Right.
this to this point, it's going to take this long to get your book written, edited, out the door. Oh yeah, by the way, because of your book and the type of book, this is the time of year that we need to put it out from a marketing standpoint for it to have any impact. Because if we go before then or after then, nobody's going to care then
Yep.
how great that book is. If you put out the best diet, health, and fitness book in the world, and you market that thing at the wrong point in time, which would be like right now,
Yeah.
It's going to fall flat because everybody's into Christmas, everybody's into Thanksgiving, everybody's into the feast that they're about to have, and they don't even want to think about diet and exercise right now. They just don't.
Right.
January, yes, but everybody comes out with their stuff in January because there's the diets happen and everything else. Everybody's like, okay, now I got all the turkey weight, and it's not turkey weight, it's pie weight. But there's that piece of it too, making sure that whenever you do have a team, they know the industry really well and the industry that you're writing for and from.
Mm-hmm.
As far as, okay, here's your book, here's when we're going to put this thing out, because if we do it any other time,
Yeah,
it's going to be a waste.
So, from a global perspective, I mean, what's different in your life because you jumped in and did a book at one point? Was there anything different?
Well, getting a radio show and now a TV show is kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
That's essentially that's it. Without the book, I wouldn't have those. It just wouldn't have happened, because it got me in the thought process for doing those things.
Yeah.
And if you got a book, well, how are you going to get it out there? Oh, radio show's pretty good. Talk show's pretty good. So there's that piece of it. And whenever you do start putting that out there, you start you start working towards becoming an expert in your field.
Mm-hmm.
You just start adding on to that. And otherwise, it's just a nice, cool throw out there. Hey, yeah, I'm an author. I got a book. When people are just looking you up or trying to find information on you, who is this person? How do I know that they even know anything about what they're talking about?
Yeah. Well, I think that even that little checkbox can be huge, right? And we talked about different levels of it, right? Building a whole team and a whole commercialization process and trying to sell tens of thousands of books versus putting together something simple and easy. Even a far spectrum of just putting together something easily and branding yourself author is probably going to make a difference in some close calls.
Oh yeah, well, it comes down to you and this other person being invited onto a show, or you and this other person up for a job position, or if you're getting into teaching instruction, or even just inside the industry, somebody's hiring you versus this other person. If you're the person that has the book and this other person over here doesn't have a book,
yeah,
automatically your credibility is up here, no matter how good this person is.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
Well, you've got a book, right?
So you've shown us the cover of your book. You've mentioned things. Tell people how they can connect more with you and go check out your world. They're interested in some fitness stuff. They want to see what's going on. How do they get a hold of you?
So then get a hold of me. You can look me up, right down here. There's only one of me. Type that in.
Health engineer. Yeah.
My website is theclintfuqua.com. So capital THE because of the health engineer. And everything's branded around the health engineer and personal health period form. I'm on Facebook. I'm on MeWe. I'm on Parler. I'm on Twitter. If it's on social media, I'm on there, except for TikTok because, well, I don't do stupid little dances. I mentioned that.
I'm experimenting with TikTok. I'm still trying to figure it out. Yeah, I don't do
People like,
dances on TikTok though. I
but
do.
I mentioned that one of my friends was like, well, we don't do the stupid dances on it. People are doing content creation. I'm like, yeah, but still,
60 seconds, man. You got 60 seconds. Go.
yes,
That's what TikTok is, right? I mean, 60 seconds of content. It's a little
yeah,
hard sometimes.
Instagram. But the nice thing is there's only three of me actually out there.
Okay.
Technically, there's only one of me in the fitness industry, so pretty easy to find. Everything's on my website, so the show, blog, all my social media is on there, and I do a lot of Facebook live content. I'll get back to a whole lot more of that. Right now, I'm doing a lot of stuff for 22 Kill, so you're gonna see a lot of push-up videos and stupid human tricks. A lot of stupid human tricks actually
Awesome.
going on. So if you just want some entertainment and to learn about how you can help military and first responders and veterans, you're going to enjoy the show for a little while.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for sharing your tips with the current authors and future authors out there looking to turn it into part of their business. I think there are a lot of great tips there to help folks. We'll get it baked into a book. Make sure you subscribe to McBride for Business YouTube channel. We'll have this. We'll have a playlist specifically on these interviews, and then you'll see all this collected together into a book that will help you make a book part of your business plan and make it profitable part of your business plan. Clint, thanks for sharing so much expertise with our audience.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, folks. Pat yourself on the back for doing the hard work, and we'll see you